guys, so we are at the final portion of your marketing campaign. Can you believe you've made it this far? And that is the executive summary. And think of the executive summary as basically the rest of your paper, the rest of your marketing plan, condensed into one page. And in the case of a project of this size, one page is perfectly fine. One of the examples I'll show you is longer, but it was also a longer project. And the executive summary serves a couple purposes. Its main purpose is to sell the rest of your presentation. In fact, I've included a quote in here, which is the job of the executive summary is to sell, not to describe. If you worked for a marketing agency and the organization you worked with was shopping around for different marketing campaigns, then your executive summary is sort of the first impression they're going to have as to whether or not they want to keep going and read the rest of your plan. Is it even worth their time to consider you? So this is your opportunity to sell what you have to offer to a prospective client, okay? It's also a chance to lay out what you're going to talk about so that they have a chance to have a preview. In some cases, even if they did hire you, they might never read beyond the executive summary. They might say, yep, this looks great. This is what I'm looking for. Or this looks good. I only have a question about the budget, or I only have a question about the campaign schedule, and just flip to that part. In a business plan, again, if this was a business plan, that you were pitching to a financial institution or an investor to get money to start a business or to grow a business, the executive summary, again, is that introduction. Are you even worth looking at? It's everything in one spot. So again, for the purposes of this project, this does not need to be more than a single page, and that's fine. So I recommend making it visual. I think that, humans tend to be visual. We tend to be attracted by bright, shiny objects. And so if you want to use a program like Visme to create it, that's awesome. Of the examples I'll give you, one combines some text and some visuals. One, and then the other two are pretty text heavy. If you scroll down through Classroom, there are some other examples that we looked at back at the beginning that are fully visual. Again, that stuff is fine as well. So I'll give you a couple examples here. Here's that business service marketing one. Again, this was a longer project, so longer executive summary. But you can see, right, they've got the objective of their project right here laid out at the beginning. They've got their 4-pronged approach: social media, the sunscreen dispenser, public service messaging, and community outreach. And then they've broken down what each of those means a little bit. They did give a little bit of an introduction into what the business is, so that's something that you could do in text, or maybe you can find a way to do that visually. They've then given some information about their project, a little bit more about the business, about the research they conducted, again, because theirs was research-based. And then here is their campaign schedule that you guys did 2 weeks ago. So you've got this. You could do that very easily and nicely. And then finally, again, they've got their campaign budget, breaking down each of those 4 sections that they talked about. They've got the total budget. That's really important, right? Because if I'm looking at hiring you, how much am I going to spend? And if you come in, your marketing firm comes in at this price and another marketing firm comes in way higher or way lower, that's going to be something that me as a client, I'm going to be thinking about and saying, wow, what's going on? Should I hire them or not? And then they've also included those metrics and key performance indicators about how they're going to know whether or not they were successful. So this is an example of a really nice visual one. The Grilled Cheese Championship one that was done last year was done pretty much all in text, although they do have some nice images. But again, they've got everything's included in there, why it exists, what the event is, what the different strategies are, how they're going to know if they met their goals, and then what the budget was. So all that important stuff. Sarbacher, same thing, a little bit different, kind of a bulleted list. The objectives, the target market, the schedule of events, and the budget right here. So you're welcome to do this however you want, but there are some examples out here. And like I said, if you scroll back through Classroom, you'll see a bunch of other examples from ones that went to ICDC, to the international competition. The other thing that you need to do for this section is to create a bibliography MLA style. That should be on the last page of your document. And one of the things, you may not have done a lot of book research, you may not have done much internet research. However, you may have had extensive phone conversations, in-person interviews, you may have had email back and forth. That needs to be cited in that bibliography. The only other thing I want to mention is that some of you need to go back and tweak your budgets a little bit from last week. Make sure that you have some sort of table or chart that says, this is what I'm doing, and this is how much it's going to cost. A few of you may need to go back and look at your campaign schedule and make sure you actually have a schedule of, we are going to have social media posts on this date, this date, this date, and this date, because some of those weren't specific enough. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great week. Once you're done with this, we'll just have one small little thing to do, and then we are done with this whole remote learning experience, at least for this year. Have a good week, guys. Bye.